We'll hire fast and we'll also fire fast. What am I going to get for £5,000? You know, when you spend £10,000, you're going to be getting anything from 200 to 250 leads.
Hey, aspiring CMOs, today I'm super excited to bring on James Dooley, serial entrepreneur and the most sought out fractional CMO in the UK. James and I have met at the SEO Mastery Summit and in different conferences, and I've been super amazed by the level of achievement that him and his business partner Carl Hudson have gone through, and I'm super honored to have him on the show today. So what you need to know about James is he is one of the top paid digital landlords in the UK.
People don't talk about trust. They don't talk about toxicity. They only talk about power of like DR.
Today, not only are we going to talk about marketing, but also we're going to blend in business and mindset so you can level up yourself as a marketer and a business owner and a leader. So James has all of these advice in his bucket today. Whether you're aiming to become a next amazing CMO or you want to become the next Elon Musk, keep listening because we will uncover so many of his tactics and strategies to grow a business at scale. And let's bring James into the show. Let's go. Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to the Aspiring CMO podcast. Today, I have a really special guest with me, James Dooley. Hey, James, how are you doing?
How are you doing? I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm awesome. I've been wanting you and Carl to join my show for a long time, but finally we made time and you're here. For those very small number of people who don't know you yet, could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm James Dooley from Manchester in the UK. I do a lot of different investments related to digital assets. So I leverage all different types of marketing techniques. It could be paid ads on PPC or Facebook ads. I do quite a lot with search engine optimization. I do a lot of affiliate marketing. I do a lot of lead generation. Basically anything where you can make money online.
Amazing. And right now, I know you for a while, but also I searched on the internet and I see that you're an entrepreneur, you are a fractional CMO, and you also own other like hundreds of websites. Plus, you also have a horse riding business.
That's right.
So
Yeah,
something
yeah.
related to horses. What's that?
So with regards to that, I had a few years where I was very successful, earned a lot more money than what I thought I could ever earn, if I'm being honest with you. And decided to put a bit of money into the family for experiences and memories. So we ended up buying 12 racehorses, and all the family and friends go traveling throughout Ireland and UK, sometimes to Dubai, Hong Kong, Doha with the horses. And yeah, it's great experiences. We love it.
So with all these businesses, which one is your focus nowadays? Like where do you spend your most time?
So the horses isn't for profit. It's more just for the experiences and the memories. So it's nothing to do with on the profit side. But then with regards to digital marketing as a whole, that's where I'm making the money. So SEO, building out rank and websites, lead generation, affiliate marketing, all those kind of things is where I'm making my money.
Did you start with Rank and Rent? So you are one of the top paid digital landlords. Like that's like the most amazing title someone can ever get on the internet. And here we are. Did you start with that business then? Was that your first business model that became successful?
I actually started out in, I needed leads myself. So I came from understanding what the customers want. I needed inbound leads myself for my own construction company. And then from there, as I started knowing that I needed the leads, I then started to build out and get the systems and processes in place and was generating a lot of inbound leads for my company. And then I started to realize what problems I had, a lot of other business owners kind of still incurring today. So I started doing lead generation before I did the rank and rent model. But then I started to realize I didn't really like lead generation too much because you was dealing with customers that was arguing whether they should pay or shouldn't pay per lead. So I changed the model to being, we will guarantee a return on investment for business owners. We'll generate them the leads. They don't pay anything for Facebook ads or PPC or SEO or content or backlinks. And they don't pay money for any of it. They don't even pay money for the lead. They only pay on conversion. So that's kind of how the business model kind of built up, and yeah, that's how we started to scale out the rank and rent model.
I really love your way of thinking. So you basically shifted the perspective back to the customer, and rather than like pushing a service down their throat, you kind of said, okay, this is the math. And you really come from an ROI perspective, which I see many successful marketers do it that way. But I guess in the beginning, was that a hard thing to figure out at the first time? Like, oh, is that something I should do for
Yeah.
clients?
I mean, you need to be very good at SEO to run this
Okay.
model. So, like, we failed so many times in the first 5 years of doing this. We failed so many times. If you don't know how to rank high in Google search, then, or in Bing search, or in YouTube search, then this model is not for you, because you only get paid on when you're generating good quality leads that actually convert. So it's very risky on our behalf. But what it allowed us to do is not have like account managers and a sales team in trying to sell the products and service. It kind of sold itself, because it's such an amazing deal for business owners that pretty much everyone says yes to our model because we're taking all the risk. It's just then whether we accept the clients to see whether it suits our business model. So we obviously need to look at the difficulty of the keywords, the search volume, whether we feel there's enough profit in the job, whether we feel that that customer and that company have got a good brand that can convert the leads. So there's quite a lot that goes into it, and it's just one method of doing like basically lead generation, but we take all the risk.
I think that's kind of answered my next question too, because I see that the rank and run model had been like talked about all over the internet, like, oh, just set up a site, rank it, and then sell the leads. But you highlighted like how risky this business model is, and I think that's a lesson for someone who is extremely risk averse, like to not start with this business model at first time,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
this model is definitely not for everyone. The rank and rent model is very, very risky on the onus of the SEO or the marketer, but if you get it right, it can be very, very profitable. So you're dealing then with business owners that then start to open up a lot more and say, I like your model, and they tell you everything. Where initially, when you're just a lead generation company, it's not really a partnership at that point. It's just we're paying you for a service. Where on the rank and rent model, it forms more as being a partnership setup where they're happy to give you everything because they know that you're taking the risk. And then you form this partnership to work together. And we help them out in making certain that when we need to make certain they're good at converting. So we want to check there from a marketing perspective that their reviews online is good, that their reputation management online is good, that even like little things like the email templates that they send, the signatures on the emails are good, that the design of the template of what they send for a quote looks good. Because if we don't think it looks good, potential customers might think it doesn't look good, which means that the inquiry we generate them doesn't convert, which then means we don't get paid. So from a whole marketing perspective, this is where we ended up moving into being fractional CMOs, because we did a lot more than just do SEO and lead generation. We got involved in the whole marketing of how do they look online, because that affects how good our leads and how much they can convert.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that, because now you're explaining that you have taken ownership for not only one channel, but like email marketing, web design, copywriting. Like you have your company is taking care of all this, which signals that to succeed, you have to take more ownership in your role. I think that's a lesson I've also just learned recently, is to succeed, you have to take risk and also take higher ownership. Now, one thing though is for someone, for example, who is like extremely risk averse, like they don't know how to start, but they really want to like get to a level of success where you are, like where would you recommend them to get started with? Like maybe it's just copywriting, or is it something else? Like what's your...
So if you're right at the very start, it depends on where you are in the world. So like if you're working in a Western country, let's say in the US or in the UK, you could go and quite easily go and get yourself a job in an SEO agency, and you could earn yourself maybe £2,000 or $3,000 a month working within an agency. And not only will you be getting paid a guaranteed wage, you'll also be learning on the job. So that's what I would first do if I was in a Western country. With regards to, and overnight, I'd be trying to learn my own things and just try things out on like, you can do it on like free websites like medium.com, LinkedIn Pulse. So there's lots of like places where you don't need to spend a lot of money to test certain things out of what work and what might not work. work. But if you was in, let's say, in Vietnam, where the wages might be a little bit lower, then maybe you're looking to set yourself a profile up on Fiverr, on Upwork, and on lots of other freelancer type jobs where you might do copywriting, you might do some sort of link building, you might reach out to some influential people and say, can I do this work for you for free? And if you like it, pay me. But if you don't like it, tell me why you don't like it. So it might mean that certain jobs that you're doing, you don't get paid on because the influencer might not like it, but you're getting the feedback of why they don't like it. You can improve upon it, do it again until they say, yes, we like that. And then these Western people that generally can charge more to clients then can freelance work over to yourself, and you're learning on the job. Like anything, you've got to learn your trade, and you can't just expect to start earning a lot of money when you don't know what you're doing. You've got to learn somehow. So it's hard. Like, people want this one click button and think it's a push button kind of way of earning the money. No, you need to learn your trade. You need to understand how to write good quality content, what a good backlink looks like, technical SEO. This is just from an SEO standpoint. How to build a site, how to get the conversion of the site looking good. And that's just for SEO. And then you need to try to learn organic social media. Like, how can you trigger people to like and comment and build a following on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, be networking in Facebook groups, just being very, very active and learning every single day until you've learned your trade. And when you're an expert at something, that's when you can then start charging high prices.
Hi, if you listen to this far, thank you so much for listening. And if you enjoyed the show, please leave me a review on either Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or my YouTube channel. If you have any feedback for the show, please let me know on the Aspiring CMO Podcast social media pages on Facebook and Instagram, or send me an email on my website. Now, let's get back to the episode. Exactly. Thank you so much for basically you showed the blueprint. This is the blueprint to marketing success, especially with the little to zero resources available. I also started on Upwork, by the way, like to get started on something. I got extra client through Upwork, and I still, support his work, on social media and stuff. And it is a great feeling to see how the progress goes. Like, it goes almost like this when you self-learn, which that was one thing though. But the second thing that really helped me and many people to get out from the very new phase was networking. And I see you present at so many conferences. Like, we just run into each other in conferences, and I'm so grateful you joined the SEO Mastery Summit too. And so you're going to conferences now with Carl. And like, my question though, what are the few things that you don't hear at conferences, or they don't speak about it enough? What are those things? Can you share with us?
So a lot of the conferences on stage, they talk about the basic, like there might be a little bit of advanced like tricks and tips to do with like AI prompts, or there might be certain information about you need backlinks, but not enough people talk about what is a good backlink and what is a bad backlink. People don't talk about trust. They don't talk about toxicity. They only talk about power of like DR. People don't properly talk about how to effectively write great content and make it as concise as it can be and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things where people kind of talk about content's important, links are important, and the paid ads are important, but you then need to dig deep and become an expert on it. You need to do 10,000 hours on something to become an expert on it. So I can't spend 10,000 hours on Facebook ads, on PPC, on SEO, on organic social media and all the rest of it. I haven't got enough time to do that. So then what you want to try to do is network with someone that has done those 10,000 hours in that lane, that they are the experts on LinkedIn ads or Facebook ads or YouTube ads or specific like content. So for me, like content optimization, Kyle Roof and Corey are two amazing people to do with on-page content. But I wouldn't speak to those two people about backlinks. I'd speak to Carl Hudson because he's testing every single day what is a good backlink and what is a bad backlink. And the algorithms are changing and things are changing and stuff like that. So I'd be talking to the people who are the best in their lane when I'm going to these networking events, saying these are the experts at that. And I kind of always say that you wouldn't speak to a roofer about plumbing. You wouldn't speak to a bricklayer about joinery. You speak to the people that are best in their lane, and you need to try to, on the networking events, understand who's best in their lane at that and then speak to them about that. But if somebody else is really good here, speak to them about what they're good at. And that's what I think my main strength is. I'm good at networking and extracting people who are amazing at something and trying to hire them or freelance them or get them to train some of my team up to be only 80% as good as them, but that's advanced, if that makes sense.
Yes, I understand. So basically, find a person who is known for that thing and then talk to those people. But I understand like the limitation of conference speakers is that they have to keep it so general so that people actually sit there and as many people can sit there as possible, right?
Yeah.
So some of the key insights like what is a good link, what is a bad link, or what is a good content, that's always it depends. Like even in our agency, like we keep asking ourselves like, oh, is this good content? And then the timeline, the deadline hits, I'm like, you know what, just push it. But I understand that there would be a lot better if there is a framework. So far, what is your experience though with both links and content? I know that I know because I follow you and I follow all your accounts. So I know you're posting on LinkedIn. I know you're posting on for Facebook. What was your experience on those content so far? LinkedIn articles and social media posts. Do you see
So
any
with
movement
regards to
there?
my own personal profiles, they're not that they're a little bit active, but they're not as active as what they should be. So if I was looking for new business and I was out there to try and find new clients for, let's say, an SEO agency, I would be very, very active on LinkedIn. LinkedIn works, from what I've been told, 10 times better than what it does on Twitter. Twitter, you're getting lots of engagement and stuff like that, but nowhere near the amount of inquiries that you can get from LinkedIn. LinkedIn's the place that can generate leads. But for inbound leads, I'm a massive believer that paid ads is a great angle. So LinkedIn ads works well. Twitter ads can work well. Facebook ads work really well, like Meta, so like Instagram as well. If you're good in front of a camera, doing some YouTube ads works very well as well. And then trying to find the long tail keywords that specifically convert in your space and doing pay-per-click and doing PPC. That's also a great method. But also, if you know these long tail keywords that convert, you can then also then start dominating the first page of Google, not just having your website being number one, but having like a power post, like a guest post article ranking number 2 for that keyword, which links back to your main page, a guest post ranking number 3, a LinkedIn Pulse article ranking number 4, a medium.com article ranking position number 5, and so on and so on and so on. So it's about trying to dominate the SERP, search engine results page, for the main keywords that make you the money. And some of the terms that make you the money are normally the long tails. So like SEO London or something like that doesn't actually generate a lot of good quality inquiries. So sometimes it's a longer tail that actually might generate it, where they're specifically asking a question to a problem that they might have, and you can answer that, and then you then are seen to be the expert, and then they come to you and you can converse them a lot better.
Oh, so for example, how to do effective keyword research for, I don't know, a laundromat in Manchester? I guess would that be like
Exactly that. So people don't know that they need SEO, but what they do know, let's say you're a construction company, they know that they want to grow the business. Now, they don't know that they need SEO or backlinks. They don't even know what a backlink even is. So if you start going after certain terms like how to generate more leads for my construction company, how to grow my construction company, how to grow my landscaping company, and then what you do as a CMO or a fractional CMO is you explain all the different ways that they could grow it. You talk about traditional marketing. Is that good? Is it bad? You talk about SEO. Is that good? Is it bad? You talk about PPC, organic social media, paid social media. So they've got all these different platforms that you could do for a construction company or a landscaping company or a finance advisor or whatever the industry is. But each industry, it might be different. Like if you was doing theatre marketing, then traditional marketing like billboard ads and bus stop ads works very, very well. But if you was in a locksmith, billboard ads and like bus stop advertising is pointless. You want to be doing like Google business profiles, paid ads, even social media is pointless with regards to locksmiths, because it's a search and click and it's an emergency niche where they want to normally ring someone and have the problem sorted now. So you've got to understand the industry and then you tailor your marketing strategy around the industry and the niche.
That's thank you again. Like this is a really cool presentation. You're basically showing everyone how to become a better CMO CMO altogether. Especially like I love how you gave specific examples to real businesses, and but of course you have a lot of experience with those brick and mortar businesses. Do you see different strategy works for like software companies, like B2B SaaS stuff?
Absolutely, yes. So we've got a large testing team, and in fact, it's probably from my knowledge, it's the largest testing team in the world for SEO with the algorithms. So we test a lot of different things, and what works in, let's say, the finance industry compared to the SaaS industry, compared to health industry, compared to, let's say, home improvement industry, is very, very different, right? So in certain industries, you need to be covering a lot more EEAT signals. So you need to make certain that you've got a lot more awards, and you've got an about us page and a telephone number and an email address. All them form are very, very, very important for certain like health and finance. You need to make certain that you're showing that your FCA approval number on the site. If you don't have an FCA approval number for, let's say, finance, which is an accreditation, you can't even run paid advertising for it. So there's all little things like that and little nuances that you need to understand. But in local, with regards to trying to do digital PR or guest posts and stuff like that from a backlinking point of view, that's probably overkill. You mainly only need to do citations, maybe a few niche edits, and maybe a press release, but you don't need to be spending £6,000 on digital PR. You don't need to be spending £10,000 on guest posts. You just need a bit of power with lots of naked URL citations. And normally in your local area, you'll start ranking for the keyword in your local area just by doing that. If you start doing all these big, crazy, you're getting listed in the newspaper articles and stuff like that, you almost become the black sheep, because like no one else has got anything close to that. All you need to do is do enough to win. Like the whole saying of what Kyle Roof says, you don't need to be faster than the bear. You just need to be faster than the people that are running away from the bear. So, and that's kind of, you just need to do enough to win, to be number one, and then move on to another keyword.
I see. I think that's a good perspective to kind of prioritize a lot of things, because many marketers get extremely overwhelmed because, you know, you mentioned backlinks, you mentioned local SEO, GMBs, press releases, and maybe someone who is listening to it doesn't even know what a press release is, you know, and then they look into it and they go down the rabbit hole. But I think the key message here is to know your priorities based on the industry, and that takes you know, an extra layer of research from us marketers or marketing team to understand the industry really well. What's your method?
I also just think just one more thing on that. I also think that something that's very, very important is, depending on where you are in your journey, right, go and getting yourself a mentor, right, in what you're weak at. So sit there, go and book a hotel room for a full night on your own and sit there and write all the things that you're weak at. And be honest with yourself, like, I am not good at technical SEO. I am not good at schema. I am not good at this. I am not good at that. And write what you're not good at. And the people that are good at it, right, then if you want to learn it, go and jump on a mentorship call. Or if you've got problems scaling staff keep coming and then they keep leaving, right? You might have the staff in the wrong positions doing the wrong job, and at that point you go and book for like an hour consultation call with Mads, right? Mads then can sit down and look at the like management system of what you have if you're looking to scale a team, and help you on that. If you're struggling with, like you was talking there about someone not knowing what a press release is, go and speak to someone who's a mentor about link building, and they'll tell you the strategy of what's needed. Get that strategy. Don't go running in that direction when this direction might be the best route. The mentor will guide you what the best route is of what to do. It's the best money that you can spend, but go and choose the right business mentor. Like within ODYS mentors, there's like 20 different mentors on that platform, and they're all good at something different. Like Richard Breaker on there is brilliant at Facebook ads. I wouldn't ask him about press releases. And this is kind of knowing who's good at what. Get the mentor if you're weak at it, or get a freelance and use someone who's an expert in what you're missing. So it could be press releases. Go out and find 3 different press release companies and test them on different websites until you go, I think these are the best. Okay, well now use them.
Amazing. So get mentors, everyone. And I also got into this habit of, part of this podcast also is to like talk to smart people. That's my first step to get into mentorship, I think. Bottom line, everyone, get a mentor and really be honest with yourself what you're not good at, and just don't waste time on trying to do it yourself. You can find a mentor and then do it anyway, but with the guidance of someone who is expert at it. Yes.
Yeah.
My next question is, what do you look for when you hire someone? You are extremely successful marketer and online entrepreneur, so you probably have all the tips and tricks when you look at a person and you say, yes, you come on board.
So I don't personally do the hiring anymore. So I've got someone in to do the hiring and the firing as well, to be fair. But it completely depends on what type of role that they're going to be doing. So if it was someone to do with, let's say, culture and keeping all the rest of the team happy, we're looking at personality traits and how enthusiastic are they and happy are they as a person. But if there was, like, let's say, a developer, could our other development team work with this person? Are they very analytical in the way that they think and mathematical in the way that they think? With regards to CRO, are they quite creative, or video editing or graphic design? We'll go and get like 20 different examples of, we'll give them certain tasks. But I think when we first hire him, what we'll always do is we'll always give them, if we think they're good, we'll go and give them a week's probation period and set them a lot of different tasks and work with them for a week and see whether, one, are they good, and two, are they good to work with? Have they turned in on time? Have they done the KPIs that we've set them out to do? And what is the quality of the work that they've done? Because majority of people, even on a video interview, before they even have an interview, they can look very good. And then when you actually start working, day 3, day 4, day 5, they can start dropping off slightly. So we'll give people the benefit of the doubt. If we think they're good, we'll hire fast and we'll also fire fast at the start, and then we'll move through to see who's a good fit for whatever roles that we're looking for.
I like that. I'm also really keen on just giving a first task to people, and just even like something short, like, hey, can you watch a series of videos and then act accordingly? And
Yeah,
I recognize that that has been a little bit difficult for some people to just follow like a 20-minute video
yeah.
broken down into like 5 minutes. But yeah, that's the world we live in. I think in a remote environment, like people just have options, or people don't feel as responsible because they're not in an office. But we also have a bigger pool as a company to look for candidates. Um, right now, so you're not hiring and firing anymore, but like, could you like tell us how your organizations look like the structure? How have you built up your empire?
Yeah, so I've got a lot of different businesses now that we run successfully. So let's say within Searcheroo, which is a link building agency. So we've got Charlotte at the helm, who's the CEO and the managing director. So she'll run everything within the business. She'll have a middle management system in place. So it could be like head of customer service, head of outreach, head of the database that we have, accounts. And each one of these middle managers will be assigned different virtual assistants. So they then take ownership and responsibility of what they're kind of heading up. And they then might need 2, 5, or even 10 virtual assistants. A lot of our workers now work remotely. So it could be, if it's content writing, it could be in South Africa or in the Philippines. If it's development, it could be in India. If it's data inputting, it could be in Venezuela or Bangladesh. So we've got many virtual assistants all over the world that we use. So we hire quite a lot from Vietnam with regards to video editing and graphic design. We seem to have found that the Vietnamese seem to be great at creativity, like you said, graphic design and video production and stuff like that. So we've gone down that route with regards to Vietnam. So the structure is, we've got someone who heads up the business. We've got the middle management systems in place. So the CEO and the managing director is only dealing with maximum 6 to 8 people maximum. And then each one of them can deal with 6 to 8 or maybe even up to 10 virtual assistants. And that's kind of how we set up. And then if there's another business, again, we'll set that up. We'll get someone to head it up. We'll get the middle management systems in place. And then we get the virtual assistants on doing the stuff.
Yeah. But in order to create a really well functioning hierarchy, you really have like good SOPs and systems in place, I think, right? to run it. I think that's enough for management stuff. One thing though, from a business owner perspective, now my question is hiring marketers and CMOs, for example, because what I've been learning over this journey of the Aspiring CMO podcast, many CMOs told me that marketing is really just betting. Like you're placing a bet into PPC, you're placing a bet on this social post, in this designer, and then all of a sudden at the end of the month you have a big bill to pay. And business owners often find marketing an extremely like financially risky department to run. What's your take on that as a fractional CMO and also business owner who
So, in my opinion, people could say it's betting, but the main term I would say is you've got to take calculated risks. So everything forms some sort of risk when you're paying money out in not knowing what you're going to get in return. But very quickly, there's certain platforms like PPC where you've got KPIs and you can track how much your cost per acquisition is against your cost per lead and know what you can spend. And then at that point in time, the longer you start to do anything, the more KPIs that you put in place. And then it actually becomes very, like, not very risky, because you know when you spend £10,000, you're going to be getting anything from 200 to 250 leads. You know that your conversion rate is approximately 10%, so that you know you're going to be converting 20 clients. And out of the money that you've spent, you know that might bring you in with lifetime value, £300,000. Well, at that point, a business owner says, if I spend X and I get this ROAS, return on ad spend, well, I'm going to keep spending that money. So it's when certain people just bet blindly and do, let's say, billboard advertising, TV advertising, radio advertising, and they don't put any KPIs in place, and it's very difficult to track how much money did this bring in. At that point, it is very risky, but you should always have KPIs in place for, especially if you're doing any sort of paid ads. Now, if you're doing social media and it's more about branding, then that's slightly different, and that goes into a different bucket of you're not looking at the return on investment. You're looking to grow a long-term sustainable brand that looks good online, that helps your conversion and all the rest of it. Well, then, as long as the business owner says we're making £1 million a month, for us to spend £20,000 a month on general branding and marketing, that's fine, because they've got that within the budget. So you've just got to set your budgets in place for what you can spend for branding and marketing, but then what you can then spend for cost per acquisition of new clients, or what you can do to try to get the average transactional value up or the lifetime value up, where you might be running some sort of retargeting ads and stuff like that to increase the lifetime value. But there's different buckets for different investment opportunities of what you're doing within marketing. And as a CMO, as a chief marketing officer, you should know what each allocation is for, but making certain that you can go back to the business owner and show them what return on ad spend that they got from PPC or Facebook ads on those platforms, because that can all be tracked. And if you're not tracking it, I would be, as a business owner, asking why are you not tracking that, because that's important to track. So trying to get as much data as possible. A lot of business owners are driven with factual information. If I spend this, what do I get back? And it's only really the branding part that is just I'm happy to spend this amount of money on branding and on marketing. So, but majority of it's not risky if you've got the right KPIs and processes in place.
Okay, I understand. I love how you broke it down into PPC and organic, because I think for PPC is a little bit more black and white in that way. Like if I put in 10K, I get this much out of it. Of course, it starts with testing first. If you start from zero, I used to do that in my very first job, and it was super stressful. I didn't have any data back then, so I was the one creating the data. But ever since, I've been merging out to, like, video marketing and like SEO. All those different content don't have direct ROI, like instant ROI. And I think that's the challenging part with SEOs and social media marketers, that you hire them, but you don't really know how much you're going to get out.
Yeah, I mean, so on that, like the business owners or the fractional CMOs, but this is where a CMO at times still needs to have a mentor. Like the amount of CMOs that we've spoken to that want to be, I'm top of the pile, I know everything, and they don't have a mentor in place to give them a strategy that allows them to turn around and say, okay, we know the core fundamentals of the SEO is good quality content, topical authority, backlinks, and technically a well-built site. So if you know those platforms and you could break down the costs and say, okay, so within a £10,000 a month, I just use that as being a figure, within a £10,000 a month budget, we can spend £5,000 a month on backlinks, £3,000 a month on content, and £2,000 goes to technical SEO and all the rest of it, and we charge £5,000 as a management fee, right? You know what you're spending, right? Or if it's in-house, you don't need to add the management fee on, but you know what you're spending, and what you can do is you can set certain KPIs within link building. So, okay, what am I going to get for £5,000? For £5,000, I'm going to get 20, as a minimum 20 do follow backlinks. And you know that long term, this is going to come into play, that's going to hopefully improve your site. But if it's not working very well on the link building part, go and get a business mentor to sit down with you and ask why. Why is the link building not delivering what it should be delivering? On the content that you're writing, realistically, if you're in certain industries, when you write a well-written piece of article, it should be ranking in the top 30. With no backlinks, with no internal links, a well-written article should be ranking in the top 30, unless it's a ridiculously competitive term. If it's not, it's probably not been written very well from the start, and then you need to improve this vertical. If it's that someone comes along and says that your crawl depth of your technical of your website, or the site speed and all the rest of it needs some work, your technical kind of arm, or whoever you outsource your technical work to, needs to be working on that. But if you're doing all items correctly, in time, long term, if you are following that suit, you know long term, you're not going to get that return on investment from an SEO standpoint. It is a long-term investment that might take 12 months, 18 months, but you've just got you'll be working, you can see the path going up. The impressions normally go up first before the clicks start to follow. And as long as you can see the impression count going up, if it's not, something fundamentally is wrong on what you're doing. And then you need to look at it that way.
Okay, I understand. So every aspiring CMO should take notes, because this is how you run a marketing department. And thank you, James, for breaking it down. And we are coming to the end of this podcast. And my final question is always the same. So the final question is, if you were to go back in time, what advice would you give for your younger self?
I would say go faster and go harder than what I did. I think in the first 7 or 8 years, I probably procrastinated too much. I was probably too much of a perfectionist. I just could have gone a lot harder than what I did. I used to hold myself back with my own thoughts of thinking, surely I can't get here. And I think the procrastination and being a perfectionist and prioritize, I always talk about the 3 Ps: prioritization, perfectionist, procrastination. They're the 3 things that people always seem to hold people back. If you start to let go and you don't become a perfectionist, you can start to delegate more and stop thinking that everything that you do is better. A job done at 80% is better than a job not done at all. And then trying to work harder and work faster, that's what I would tell myself.
Thank you so much, James. And thank you for joining the show.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you. Cheers.